Okay, so let's get back to U.S. Code 38. It is basically the laws that Secretary of Veterans Affairs and the employees of the Veterans Administration on how they are to perform their duties. So we're going to start now with subsection 3.321, being general ratings considerations. Note, we'll be looking at this later. Code 38, subsection 4.10, functional impairment. But for now, we're going to take a look at just the ratings. And it says ratings will be based as fair as practicable upon the average impairments of earning capacity, with the additional provision that the Secretary shall from time to time readjust the schedule of rating in accordance with experience. To accord justice, therefore, to the exceptional case where the scheduler evaluations are found to be inadequate, the Undersecretary for Benefits or the Director, Compensation and Pension Services, upon field station submission, is authorized to approve, on the basis of the criteria set forth in this paragraph, an extra scheduler evaluation commensurate with the average earning capacity impairment due exclusively to the service-connected disability or disabilities. This governing norm in these exceptional cases is a finding that the case presents such an exceptional or unusual disability picture with such related factors as marked interference with employment or frequent periods of hospitalization as to render impractical the application of the regular scheduler standards. Now keep in mind, it's telling you this has to also fit within 4.10 functional impairment, and we'll get to that pretty quickly. So subsection 4.1, essentials of evaluative ratings. This rating schedule is primarily a guide in the evaluation of disability resulting from all types of diseases and injuries encountered as a result of or incident to military service. The percentage rating represent, as far as can practically be determined, the average impairment in earning capacity resulting from such diseases and injuries and their residual conditions in civil occupations. Generally, the degrees of disability specified are considered adequate to compensate for considerable loss of working time from exasperations or illnesses proportionate to the injury of the several grades of disability. For the application of this schedule, accurate and fully descriptive medical examinations are required, with emphasis upon the limitation of activity imposed by the disabling condition. I want to read that one again. For the application of this schedule, accurate and fully descriptive medical examinations are required, with emphasis upon the limitations of activity imposed by the disabling condition. Over a period of many years, a veteran's disability claim may require re-rating in accordance with changes in laws, medical knowledge of his or her physical or mental condition. It is thus essential, both in the examination and in the evaluation of disability, that each disability be reviewed in relation to its history. 4.2, interpretation of examination reports. This is a very important one. Different examiners at different times will not describe the same disability in the same language. Features of the disability which must have persisted unchanged may be overlooked, or a change for the better or worse may not be accurately appreciated or described. It is the responsibility of the rating specialist to interpret reports of examination in the light of the whole recorded history, reconciling the various reports into a consistent picture so that the concurrent ratings may accurately reflect the elements of disability present. Each disability must be considered from the point of view of the veteran working or seeking work. If a diagnosis is not supported by the findings of the examination report, or if the report does not contain sufficient detail, it is incumbent upon the rating board to return the report as inadequate for evaluation purposes. My. 4.10, functional impairment. This is the one that goes back to this guy here, general rating consideration. So let's take a look at 4.10. The basis of disability evaluations is the ability of the body as a whole, or of the psyche, or of a system or organ of the body to function under the ordinary conditions of daily life, including employment. Whether the upper or lower extremities, the back or abdominal wall, the eyes or ears, or the cardiovascular, digestive, or other systems or psyche are affected, evaluations are based upon lack of usefulness of these parts or systems, especially in self-support. This imposes upon the medical examiner the responsibility of furnishing, in addition to the ethological, entomological, pathological, and laboratory and prognostic data required for ordinary medical classification, full description of the effects of disability upon the person's ordinary activities. I blew a couple words on that, but I want to read that one again. This imposes upon the medical examiner the responsibility of furnishing, in addition to etological and entomological, I'm saying logical and it's not logical, anatomical, pathological, laboratory, and prognostic data required for ordinary medical classification, full description of the effects of disability upon the person's ordinary activity. In this connection, it will be remembered that a person may be too disabled to engage in employment, although he or she is up and about and fairly comfortable at home or upon limited activity. 4.124A. This is 8520, 8620, 8720. Schedule of rating neurological conditions and convulsive disorders. 8520, paralysis of. Complete. The foot dangles and drops. No active movement possible of muscles below the knee. Flexion of knee weakened, or very rarely loss, 80 incomplete. Severe with marked muscular atrophy, 60%. Moderate to severe, 40%. Moderate 20, mild 10. 8620, neuritis. 8720, neurology. The term incomplete paralysis with this and other peripheral nerve injuries indicates a degree of loss or impaired function substantially less than the type pictured for complete paralysis given with each nerve, whether due to varied level of the nerve lesion or to partial regeneration. When the involvement is wholly sensory, the rating should be for the mild or at most the moderate degree. The following rating for the peripheral nerves are for unilateral involvement, when bilateral combined with the application for the bilateral factor. Subsection 420, analogous rating. When an unlisted condition is encountered, it will be permissible to rate under a closely related disease or injury in which not only the functions affected but the anatomical location or symptomology are closely analogous. Conjectural analogies will be avoided, as will the use of analogous ratings for conditions of doubtful diagnosis or for those not fully supported by clinical and laboratory findings. Nor will ratings assigned to organic diseases and injuries be assigned by analogy to conditions of functional origin. Now this handwriting down here is basically a note to me, basically saying your appeal is reviewed by a decision review officer, DRO, under 30 hour review under this section. Encompasses only a decision with which you... Okay, the battery went dead, so I'm going to pick it up with the handwriting.